celebrations with them tonight, celebrating since all the way back, Allie, in 1991 when they won the first one.
And how things have changed, right, JP?
Immensely over the years, right? It wasn't even called the World Cup back in 1991. It was just a World Championship. It has come a long, long way to what we saw last year when we saw the 24 teams, and now we're going to have 32 at the next World Cup, so it continues to expand, but no one is in the USA's class in terms of how many World Cups that they have won.
No, and the fashion in which they've done it. I mean, they're always vying in those last couple spots, getting into the semis. It's not like they're ousted early in these competitions. It's just been full dominance, and it's going to be interesting now with Kate Markgraf coming in the GM and to see how things evolve to that next level. Again, we're the first country to kind of continue to push things on.
And this U.S. team set so many records during the last World Cup. They'll set another record tonight for the largest crowd to watch a standalone USA women's national team friendly. The record was 44,028 in Pittsburgh. They will shatter that here tonight as they unveil on this victory tour the championship flags going back. We saw 91, the 99ers. Kate Markgraf was a part of that. She's now the general manager of the U.S. women's national team. 2015. Gets another start tonight. We saw her video earlier. That 55-yard field goal was amazing, and she has said that there were some NFL teams that expressed an interest, but she would not name those teams.
Got to shorten up that step, though, right? It's one step kick. I think she can do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Portugal. Welcome singer-songwriter Jessie Kyle to sing tonight's
By the dawn's early light, one so proudly we hailed, and at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang loud, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Kyle.
Great rendition of the national anthem from Jesse Kyle. Now we're headed to field level, and Katie with him.
High at the top of her game. Midfielder Samantha Mewis talked about how much the coach has meant to her, saying that she feels indebted to Jill Ellis, first meeting her when she was a commit to UCLA, then again when she was with the under-20s, and then it was Jill Ellis who ultimately gave her a shot here with the full national team. She talked about how happy she is that Jill will finally get that time with her family she wants, but also grateful that she not only gave herself, but so many others an opportunity.
And Jill Ellis was the FIFA Coach of the Year back in 2015. She'll probably get that award again. That is the head coach of Portugal, Francisco Neto. He's 38 years of age, head coach of Portugal since 2014. They did not qualify for the 2015 World Cup, but they did qualify for Euro 2017. Our match referee is Katia Koroleva from the USA. The captains are there as well. Carly Lloyd for the USA and Claudia Neto, who plays for Wolfsburg, 31 years of age, one of the key players on this Portugal side. Players to watch include Morgan Bryant getting a start tonight.
Yeah, Katie talked about opportunity given by Jill Ellis to Sam Mewis. Well, I think there's opportunity for players like Morgan Bryant. I mean, she's been doing fantastic in the NWSL since her return with Chicago.
Pressure there from Portugal. We'll see how they play it.
Well, they have pace up top, and they're two front runners. Diana Silva, Jessica Silva, both players, yes, they're good at closing down, but they're also incredibly dangerous getting in behind, and that's something Portugal's going to look to do tonight.
Look out there for the U.S. as they play it over. Sauerbutt to that left side where Davidson is. She can play center back, as Ali mentioned, or in that left back spot. And her future position, that will depend on the next coach of this U.S. national team. Heath, two players there converging on it. They know what she can do, and there's a quick throw-in with speed of play on this right sideline. Morgan Bryant pushing it back. Heath on it. Dahlkemper almost knocked out. It's another USA throw-in. Jessica Silva was applying some pressure.
And that's a good look at Portugal's defensive shape. They like to squeeze teams in the flank spaces. The U.S. is going to have to try to play out of that, whether it's coming around the back as they are in this situation, urging Portugal out of their own defensive end so they can find space in behind, or it's getting a Julie Ertz then to bypass that first line of pressure.
Ertz will play it all the way to the left. She, like Carly Lloyd, is a favorite here. Julie's husband plays for the Eagles. They're on the road tonight in the NFL preseason game. Sonnet on this right side. Sonnet going forward, playing for Portland in the NWSL. U.S. will keep it. Heath tucking it. Lloyd trying to turn. It's knocked away. It's another USA throw-in, but much deeper. It's Tobin Heath on this throw-in. She'll get the touch back. Going inside the box, but that's picked off. Neto, the captain, Jessica Silva. Entire ball looked out from here, and finally that's what the call is. Ruled a throw-in for the U.S. Sonnet. Heath. Almost picked off, now it is. Neto. Most capped player lost it there. Ball switched quickly, press on the left, playing it in front, go! Tobin Heath.
Too easy for the U.S. The pressure comes from, yes, Morgan Bryant doubling back, but Juilliard's picking it up, and then Kristen Press pulling away, giving that little bit of a space for Juilliard to lay that under her path, and that ball whipped in across by Kristen Press behind the back line of Portugal. You can see it, the swarming defense for the U.S. to win it in a high position. 2 passes later, it's in the back of their net.
I thought that was going to be to Carly Lloyd, but it went by her, and Heath was right there.
And that's the beauty of the U.S. Multiple runners just crashing in on that goal line.
How about for Kristen Press? In this calendar year, that's her 9th assist. She leads the team in that category.
And I'd be curious to look at how many minutes she's played. I mean, I think she's been rather productive with the minutes she's been given.
This right side, Sonnet. Laid up by Bryant. Marshall from Portugal towards Neto. Cut off. Right up the middle, that's picked off. Original pass was from Tatiana Pinto. Ran pass to Presses behind her and out of play. So it's an early start for Tobin Heath and the USA. This was the way the game ended up last fall. A 1-0 U.S. win. Only goal was by Jessica McDonald, who's an available sub tonight for the U.S.
One of the things that Jill Ellis told me coming into this match is that Portugal is so organized defensively, and they sit low with those tight numbers central, that they're difficult to break down. Well, one of the ways you deal with that is you win the ball high up on the pitch when they're in possession of it and you attack, and that's exactly what they did to take advantage in these early moments.
Rich goes for it, instead it's Jessica Silva. Foul was given there. Free kick for Portugal. Drawn by Diana Silva. Played to the back slowly. Mendes pass. It comes across. Marchand. Stood up there. Sonnet wanted it. Comes all the way back. Del Kemper to the feet of French. Adriana French got it forward, but it's picked off. The U.S. with Ertz knocking it back the other way. Mendes is after it. Does pass, picked off again. Ertz. Across the way. Sonnet. Heath. She has the only goal thus far. Foul on Heath. Let's go downstairs. Katie Witham, what are you hearing from the sideline?
Well, JP, moments ago, Ali talked about the importance of winning the ball higher up the field for the U.S. Down here on the sideline, Jill Ellis, the focus has been on the shape that she's seeing from her team at times, complimenting Julie Ertz from the sideline on her good positioning, reminding Emily Sonnet to push out wide as possible to start and build up from the back. So, yes, it's about a celebration, but it's also a little coaching going on down here.
She can't help herself, can she?
Yeah. She's stepping down, but she still has 3 more games to coach, including this one.
And she wants the wins. I mean, you saw that record that Tony Chica holds with most wins. She can surpass that if they pick these up in the Victory Tour games.
She's already surpassed most games as a head coach for the U.S. team. She broke that record a while back. Contact there. Foul was against the U.S. The player down is Vanessa Marks.
And to Katie's point about what she's hearing from Jill, I mean, one of the things that you have to do against Portugal when they play in this diamond shape in midfield, the two central strikers are incredibly tight with each other, is utilize the width. You have to get outside their shape. Once you get in those areas is when your tempo has to go up, because they're going to try to lock you in those areas.
We're into the 9th minute. Tobin Heath goal from Kristen Press in the 4th minute is what we have at the moment. You can make up to 6 subs in this game, and you can be sure that the U.S. will make the maximum number. They're trying to watch players' minutes. They want to keep players healthy because they have been taken away from their NWSL clubs, and NWSL is in their stretch drive. Some big games coming up in that league.
Yeah, this is the last push heading into playoffs and league play.
Silva dropping it back. Pinto. Problem there for Portugal. Carly Lloyd taking over towards Tierna Davidson. Salva started 6 games at the World Cup, only missed that first game with a minor injury. Moran trying to poke it ahead, too far away from Heath. Portugal trying to maintain some possession here. Don't want to be tracking back defensively much of the night. Against the U.S. team that they described yesterday as intense and supremely fit. Another throw-in for Emily Sonnet. On this near sideline towards Moran. Cut off by Pinto. Help is coming for Portugal. Push back on this left side. That was Dolores Silva. Marchal, 23 in white for Portugal. That was sliced out of play. Throw in U.S. And again, it's a quick throw-in. Speed of play. Sonnet, right side. No room there for Heath. Ball was lost out. Throw it for Portugal. Pinto. Upfield, U.S. A chance maybe for Press on a cutback. And she was dispossessed in the end. Defensive stop from Portugal. U.S. gets it back. Heath wide. Sending it in. Ball is cut off. But given away again. Portugal have had to be back on their heels for the first 10-plus minutes here.
And part of that is the pressure that the U.S. is putting them under, but it's also the way that they like to defend. They want to play this way and then try to hit the U.S. on the break, but they can't pick that ball up right now.
It's up the middle, press, quick touch. Picked off, Tatiana Pinto. Knocked forward by Neto. Again, they don't keep possession for long. It's an immediate turnover for Tobin Heath. 1v1 at the moment. Help is coming. Picked off in the middle. Up for Neto. The pass into space. Didn't reach Diana Silva. Long ball from Press. Ran in. Back here, but the flag was up for offside on what would have been a very, very cheeky goal from Tobin Heath. And in friendlies, Allie, there is no VAR.
But there's a Tobin Heath. You can see Lindsay Huron and Tobin Heath just ghosting at that back post. I think both of them were offside on the initial ball, and then Tobin Heath is clearly off. That's the one good thing about football lines is you can actually tell who's on and offside. In that case, you didn't need them, though.
FS1's telecast of the U.S. women's national team is sponsored by AT&T. Throw in coming up, far side for Portugal. Not much room on the wing, but another foul in the U.S. Free kick coming up. in Portugal's half. Monica Mendes, who plays for AC Milan. Several of these Portugal players do play away from their own country. Horan, blocked. Neto, poking it ahead, that's too far. Put back into play by French. Davidson, Stanford University. Hurts inching forward, halfway line game. Sonnet. Horan. 3 players on her. Somehow she found Tobin Heath, who finds a way around Marshall. And right at the end line, Mendes knocks it out for a corner. First one for the U.S.
Horan did so incredibly well in that moment. I'm watching that ball from Emily Sonnet laced forward, and she had 3 players converging on her. She had to deal with the entry pass and then deal with them as they were trying to squeeze on her first touch.
All eyes maybe on someone like Julie Ertz. So good in the air. Driven by Heath. Header! Somehow that missed the target. That was Horan, who's another good player in the air.
You've got Ertz coming near. You've got Horan central and Carlo. Or who do you pick up? Well, they're zoning, so they're able to glance into each of those gaps between the players. That's just a philosophy by the coach, whether you zone or pick up players. Portugal likes to zone, and I think the U.S. is going to have a field day with that. No one picks up those players and puts a body on them.
Patricia Morais will put it back into play. 4 saves for her the last time these 2 clubs met. Chipped ahead, intended for Heath. Follow up, driven in for Lloyd, headed away. What a ball from Press. It's turned over to Press, quick shot, right at goal, not spilled by Morais.
One of the things the U.S. is doing so well is getting those runs in behind the center backs. You're seeing Press dart diagonally across the pitch. Heath did it on that last attack. And then you're getting another player to use the width so they can find that back post player.
Sarlin goes back to French. That's going to go out of play. Portugal throw in. Neto denied that space. U.S. moving up for Lloyd. Picked off. Silva pass on the turn. Jessica Silva. First time they're in the box of the U.S. And that's going to go out for a goal kick. Fox Sports is proud to partner with Action for Healthy Kids, a nonprofit organization working to improve children's health and well-being in schools nationwide. Learn how you can participate and take your parent to PE Week, September 23rd to the 27th by visiting activeschoolus.org/PE-week. U.S. on the ball, they've got the 1-0 lead, looking for 2, Lloyd in the box. And in the end, he's knocked out by Portugal, second U.S. corner.
Lloyd just out hunting right at the edge of the restraining line. You can see the center back actually keeps her on side the last second. And now just looking for the cutback ball, but the recovery is there by Borges.
They went for Horan the last time, a corner from Heath. This time it's Press from the opposite side towards the middle. Header, goal! 2-0 U.S. That time Morgan Bryant.
Portugal typically struggles on service in the box, and you can see it here. The goalkeeper just goes fishing to the near post, then she's trying to glide a pass to the far post, and it's an easy putback by Morgan Bryant. No one on her, wide open. movement of Moraes. And it feels like a victory tour game, doesn't it, JP?
It does now. The goal by Morgan Bryan is her 7th international goal. We saw in one game at the World Cup, got the start against Chile and played the full 90. That second game against Chile, Jill Ellis rested so many players. She really made sure that everybody except for the 2 backup goalkeepers got to play minutes in this last World Cup. So the Bryan goal, another assist for Kristen Press, so she has both assists on the night, and it's her 10th assist of this calendar year. On the distribution from France, looked like it had too much on it, but it didn't. Moran.
It actually looks like this field is playing slow to me. The ball seems to hang up a bit.
The U.S. now in a comfortable spot with a 2-0 lead. Press. Late whistle at the foul. There was no advantage apparently, so they're going to bring it back to where Morgan Bryan was fouled. Another set-piece opportunity for the U.S.
And another one to tease Moraes on. You can land this around the penalty spot.
About 25 yards away, set in. That's cut off. Looked like Ernst was the intended target of that. There's Portugal on the break. That time they had a chance to get numbers forward, but now the U.S. has gotten back. Deflected ball past Neto. Gathered in by Dahlkemper. 20th minute, 2-0. U.S. on top. Heath and Bryan are the goal scorers. This is game 2 of 5 on the victory tour. First game a 3-0 win over the Republic of Ireland at the Rose Bowl. Knocked away from Heath. Throw in U.S. Another throw in for Tobin. He scored the first goal in the 4th minute. Give the USA that jump start. Bryan turning, head up towards the corner flag, pulls back. Heath driving it in, press on the turn. Not much room there, but she kept it well. Driven by Sonnet, picked off by Moraes. FS1's Women's National Team coverage is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. The U.S. wins another ball in the air. Mendes, Marks. Marks, one of several to play for Sport Braga in Portugal. It's going to be knocked out of play. And another throw for Portugal. Portugal 5-2-2 in their last 9 games after losing last year to the U.S. They're getting ready for Euro 2021 qualifying. You're in a group that's not all that bad for Francisco Neto. Finland and maybe Scotland will be the 2 good clubs in Group B. The rest of them, Portugal has a good chance to advance. Bryan. Sonnet on the sideline, knocked out by Neto. Throw in, U.S. Sonnet from the NWSL leading Portland Thorns. First place overall. In the box, that's cleared away. Portland, of course, the runaway leader in attendance. Magnificent crowds there ever since they started in the NWSL in Portland.
Yeah, now with the added section, it's even louder.
Davidson, offside flag is up. You'd expect more offside calls, too, because the team is not really in training like they were for the World Cup. They're just coming in and gathering for these victory tour games.
And I also think because of the virtue of the way which Portugal's going about it tonight, sitting low, the U.S. is trying to play those diagonal balls in behind. And you want to do that against Portugal, and that's get runners up on their back line to try to soften up at least a little space underneath. So I think for the U.S., that's a good mark in terms of the way they're trying to go about their business. Yes, timing's going to be off, but you like to see those runs in behind.
Back in U.S. territory, off Del Kemper, plays for the North Carolina Courage. They're in second place in the NWSL with a couple of games in hand, too. Marshall will have a throw-in coming up. Just her 5th cap for Portugal. She advanced about 7 yards on that throw-in. Maybe more.
Can't blame her for trying. Gain some green.
That's very seldom called, but we see it happen all the time. Throw in here for the U.S. from in front of, should be between the benches. At least that's where the ball went out, not up there. Not even close to there. In for Abby Del Kemper. Sauerbrunn. Davidson. Possession, the 2-0 lead. Ernst. Press. Wild. He drives it. Headed straight up. Corner kick. 3rd one, U.S. They scored on the last one. Heath is ready. Ertz, obviously one of the targets. 15 of her 19 goals for Ertz have come off of set pieces. Heath, a driven ball up, headed by Lloyd, but it's wide. Good opportunity to make it 3-0. Next Friday in FS1, we have the 2019 Gold Cup final rematch. You don't want to miss it. USA versus Mexico in New Jersey. Our coverage from MetLife Stadium begins at 8:30 Eastern on FS1, or you can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. We saw the U.S. national team roster just announced yesterday. Mexico announced the larger group. I'll have to cut that list out. Several MLS players on both of those teams. Del Kemper for the U.S. Up the middle. Horan, Ernst. Julie Ernst. Right sideline. Sonnet. Portugal's bench said that that ball was out. High up the field. Ernst over the top towards Lloyd. Too close to Morais.
The movement between the midfield so good right now of the United States. With Lindsey Horan, Julie Ertz, how active has she been? She's been dicing forward. But I think picking that ball up with Lindsey Horan, that's a little nuance we didn't see much of in the World Cup. I know they're out there expressing themselves, having some freedom to play, but they're playing with a bit of intensity.
New coach coming? Maybe you alluded to that pregame.
I do. I really think Julie Ertz is one of the first players that Jill Ellis told us before the World Cup roster was announced. It was always concerned with whether or not she'd make the roster, and everyone's saying she was one of the most important players in the squad. So these players, even though you think their names are written in Sharpie, they don't feel that way, and they always feel like there's something that they have to prove.
Some of them will be playing for jobs for the Olympics. Remember, that roster goes from 23 at the World Cup to 18. So that's a significant drop in terms of the roster. You'll be looking at players that can play more than one position. And there may be some players that will switch positions.
Right, and durability is going to be a factor taken into account as well. And I said in the open, I think this is an opportunity to use younger players and give them really world experience before a World Cup event. I would think the next coach coming in would want to know that their contract goes through the Olympics up into that next World Cup, but that's a long leash.
Jill Ellis, we're still continuing as coach of the U.S. national team. I think we could probably predict what that Olympic roster would look like. With a new coach coming in, there's no way to predict that.
No, you just don't know. You don't know
the players said that yesterday too.
Yeah. And that's the uncertainty that I think, as much as we talk about the celebration of this event, I just think there's an element of uncertainty with these players. Olympics less than a year away.
Press. Davidson high upfield. Gave it away though to Morais. Let's hear again from Katie Witham.
Jill Ellis talking about her side getting a little sucked in and then stuck on one side of the field here in these last couple of minutes. She's called out to her team to switch the point of attack and do it quickly, emphasizing 1 and 2 touch, and then also being a little greedy when the opportunity presents and is right, take that shot.
I think sometimes when they get into these wide areas, then there's only one option in front of them. That's when they need to rechange it. I think that's potentially why players often slow down and you go, okay, that's not a great option. I'm going to take more touches. I'm going to be laborious on the ball. Instead, go back out, find someone in the center of the park, because right now the U.S. is dominating in the center of midfield. Continue to win that battle.
Offside flag was up on Portugal. Just got that one off quickly, but they're going to bring it back. And the kick will be retaken. 30th minute. If you're just joining us, U.S. with a 2-0 lead over Portugal. Your goal scorers Tobin Heath in the 4th minute. Morgan Bryant in the 18th minute. Assist on both goals from Kristen Pressers on the ball. Giving it left. Cross is coming. There's a cross that's off target. Goal kick for Morais. That time Horan had drifted out wide. Horan is another one of those players, Ali, that can play different positions. Depends on the next coach. You can say that about a lot of players on this team.
Yeah, but I mean, Lindsey Horan, when you consider that she started her career really as a forward and then a 10, and now she's moving a bit back, further back in the midfield, I do think she is good in that 6-8 spot where she has freedom to conduct, if you will, but the range to distribute and set up her teammates. So it's not just going to be about her making those late runs into the box. It's about her dictating tempo.
Flavia Neto has not had much room to operate tonight. Good pressure from Kristen Press. Marks. Silva. Thiago Silva's wide. Jessica Silva was making a run upfield. Now it's a throw-in for Portugal. We've got 2 games, Portugal, with the U.S. that'll help to prep them for their Euro qualifiers coming up. They'll play Tuesday in Minnesota. Silva, nice move. Davidson trying to recover and does. Good job in that 1v1 battle from Davidson. And then the foul on Portugal. Past the half-hour mark. The U.S. looking comfortable at this point with that 2-0 lead. Portugal hasn't really threatened Adriana Franch.
No, and they're frustrated because they cannot figure out how to deal with the midfield of the United States.
Flag went up, ball went out anyway. Intended for Tobin Heath. This late, you're wondering about certain players not starting. Alex Morgan, concussion protocol. Rose Lavelle in the same boat. And Megan Rapinoe out with the Achilles. Other players out too. Kelly O'Hara. No one is on the same page as Neto tonight. Balls that she's playing in the space, no one is even thinking about making that run.
Well, it's the illusion of pressure that the United States puts you under. That was one of the things that Neto referred to, is how quickly the United States hunts the ball after they lose it, and I think you feel suffocated at times. Portugal, the way they play, it's incredibly vertical. It's 1, 2, 3 passes to try to get at goal. You're seeing that directness, but they need to actually use an outlet to feed at times just to hold it, because they do have the pace. You've got to play it into the right space where you know your teammate, as simple as it sounds, will get there before the opposition. Those are defaults teams should know.
Tatiana Pinto will push it across. Up the middle. Thiago Silva. Wound over. Foul on Sauerbrunn.
Sauerbrun's been trying to pressure Silva all night. Tonight it's Diana when they finally get an entry past defeat. Too eager.
Rubilo gives that ball away. Almost a miscommunication though back there for the U.S. in that back line. They'll get a throw-in out of this. You know, as good as Sauerbrunn is, and she's very good, she was one of the ones that told us yesterday, hey, if a new coach comes in, who knows? But Becky does want to go on and play in the next Olympics. I think it's safe to say all of the players on this team want to be on that next Olympic team. Carly Lloyd, everybody. On this right side, Portugal trying to break down the U.S. That was a good move. End line, played across. And that could have been the first good opportunity, but it goes away. U.S. on the ball. Portugal back to slow down the play. It's a good move by Neto. Cause havoc for the first time really tonight against the U.S. Sauerbrunn, Dahlkemper, up the middle. Brian pass, Lloyd to the side for Davidson. Given away on this right side. Davidson trying to win it back. She gets the throw in quickly. Press, looking to cross, curling ball up and got away.
We haven't seen Portugal in the attack much tonight, but earlier this was Neto. Two players on her. Lindsay Horan coming over to double back, and then she just nutmegs Davidson. Neto grew up playing futsal in Portugal. You can see a bit of skill there. That's why she's so good in that 10 spot. She's good in tight areas, but right now they need her to get on it and try to combine with the two Silvas up top.
Most caps on this current team for Neto. She was the captain at Euro 2017 for Francisco Neto's side. Throw in here now for the U.S. in the 36th minute. A 2-0 lead. Lost by the U.S. Portugal throwing for Marshall. The U.S. collects that one too. Tierna Davidson plays for Chicago in the NWSL over the top for Lloyd. And that's a bit too far. Idea was good.
I think the better option was to find press pulling wide outside on the left.
Over the top, Silva may get to this ball with her speed. Nope, cut off. Davidson. Press coming back. Kristen Press sending in. Lloyd's on the run. Lloyd picking it up. Heavy touch. Goalkeeper out. Cleared off the line. And now Morais will get to it.
How does that stay out?
Could have been 3-0 U.S. Portugal can exhale as they clear this ball the other way. I was expecting an own goal there with two Portugal players right there in a bad spot. An accidental deflection.
I wasn't expecting Lloyd's touch to get through.
Correct. Press was open. Davidson on the move. Kristen Press left. Running end line. Wanted to cut it back. Goal kick.
Well, here it is, the one that just wouldn't go in for the U.S. Look at those legs moving by Carly Lloyd, pulling away from her defender. I don't know how she beats the goalkeeper there on that little half touch. Here it is, tucks it right underneath her. Slow to get to ground is Morais, and then Heath can't get there in time to put that one away. That's called covering if you're defenders, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. You retreat to your goal. Worst case scenario defending, crisis defending.
On this left side, the U.S. looking for Lloyd, and not hop to Heath instead. Press, pulling it back nicely. Finding Ertz on the outside. Heath turning into the box. Wants to free up a shot, maybe on her right foot, forced out.
Should have found her friend Morgan Bryan.
The outside for Davidson, doubled up. Try to pull it back to cross. That was well played defensively by Portugal. It's a goal kick. MLS on FS1 returns Sunday with the Western Conference Showdown. Nico Ladero and the Seattle Sounders hosting Zlatan and the LA Galaxy. Coverage from CenturyLink Field begins at 6:30 Eastern on FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. We just saw Zlatan in action. 2 goals against LAFC last weekend. Fantastic from Zlatan. What a game that was. Press. Tackle away. Throw in U.S. Side flag is up. 2-0 lead for the U.S. Getting closer and closer to halftime.
You wonder how much of this she's just taking in. Not thinking about tactics. I would be. Just enjoy the moment.
I think she is enjoying the moment. We talked to her yesterday. She seemed very loose, very happy. No second thoughts about her decision. Moran. Heath. Sonnet. That ball was out.
I think that's one of those examples of the U.S. just trying to squeeze it through too tight of an area. Change the point, get it out to the opposite side. I think Tierna can even pull wider there. When you see Sonnet get on that ball, then Tierna needs to open things up.
41st minute, 2-0 U.S. lead. This from Heath and Bryan. 4th minute and 18th minute. Kristen Press assisting on both. Marshall headed up once. Second ball, Silva. Put back by Ertz. Tough ball for Dahlkemper. She dealt with it though. It's knocked back down by Dolores Silva. She's on it. Leading it. Diana Silva, but the offside flag is up on Portugal. Davidson on it. Coming up at halftime, sponsored by AT&T. We'll have all your first half highlights and analysis. Plus, we'll look ahead at the huge clash between the U.S. men's national team and El Tri. We've got Sarah, we've got Alexi, and we've got Leslie coming up at halftime. On this right side, what a stretch from Heath.
You like that one?
That was good. Dahlkemper, Ertz. And that's going to go up between the benches for a Portugal throw-in. Again, you can make up to 6 subs in this game. We'll see whether some of these U.S. players only get 45 minutes or if Jill Ellis will wait a little bit longer. Towards Lloyd. Off a block, off press, and then almost right back to Lloyd instead. It's Heath. Horan. Quickly, wide, to Press. Too wide. Throw in Portugal.
I've liked Press's movement tonight. Whether it's her darting across that back line with an outside end run or the way she's been pulling away. Yes, that pass doesn't come off, but her movement's been really bright to just open up a channel to run into with the ball.
Yeah, that ended up as a USA throw-in, so Portugal had to touch it last. I didn't think so. Dahlkemper inside the circle, pressured by Jessica Silva. Smartly played back to French. Played 9 games this year in Portland. A lot of these players have not had many games with the NWSL clubs because of the World Cup in France. Moran. In for Lloyd. Offside flag is up. We asked a bunch of players yesterday, are you more tired mentally or physically? Some said more mental, some said both. Carly Lloyd said, I'm not tired at all. And she didn't look it, by the way. She said she was in great physical shape, mental shape. Thinks she can play at least another 2 years.
And she's looked
Who's
really
gonna
bright.
doubt her?
Yeah, with Sky Blue, she's looked really bright.
She has 4 goals in the season for her. A couple in the last game. She talked about the improvement of Sky Blue both on and off the field this year after so much criticism the last couple of years, especially. They're trying to turn things around with Sky Blue. Right side, Sonnet. Headed over. Saved by Rice. The flag never went up. I'm not sure if Horan thought she was in an offside position or not.
It's a good ball from Emily Sonnet. The deflection, yeah, she is onside clearly. Yeah. The deflection comes right to Horan. She's just sitting off the defender. The miscommunication between the two backs of Portugal. And then Horan can't put it away. That's a good ball. You talk about being able to open up a team. It's that ball right there by Horan to ping it over to this side. Those are moments that really stretch opponents.
Driven wide to press Davidson. Lloyd trying to turn, that's blocked. Foul is given. First wanted a quick restart. Portugal would not allow that. Mendes backing it up before she gets booked. Time running out. First half does belong to the U.S. A 2-0 lead. They've been comfortable in this first half. Sonnet. Heath. That's going to do it. First half is over. And a good performance in the first half from the U.S.
All U.S. Portugal sitting in and the U.S. dictating play. I think even though numerically they don't have the advantage, the U.S. doesn't in the center of the park, they're still running the show in there. The way they're set up, they're finding the space between the diamond.
Goals in this game by Heath and Bryan. 13, Fatima Pinto have come in. Marchal is out and Claudia Neto is out. So you can make the 6 changes. Portugal made 2. The U.S. has made 3. Second half underway. Just joining us, it's Portugal in the white, USA in red. A 2-0 U.S. lead. Goals by Heath and Morgan Bryan. Tobin Heath's 32nd international goal. Morgan Bryan's 7th and her first since 2016 when she converted a penalty kick against Romania. Morais gave that one away. Crystal Dunn had a very good World Cup. That's a shaky pass back. Wow. First touch. Ball flicked forward and France came away. Poor Crystal Dunn, that's the first time she touched the ball and didn't have much on it. But she did have a very good World Cup. She was tested. Everyone talked about the challenges that she would face, and she faced some of the best players coming down her side. She did well.
Yeah, she's one of the players that has been, I think, more exhausted mentally of the group that's returned from the World Cup. She said that.
Carly Lloyd turning. That's headed. Morais will capture it. As Morais gets ready to put this ball back in the play. Let's hear from Katie Witham, who spoke to Jill Ellis at halftime. Katie.
Her message to her team in the locker room was keep changing the tempo. Portugal cannot stay with us when you do that at times. The execution was lacking a little bit in the first half, but she said she loved the ideas of the players. She wants to see them play the higher player first and take advantage in transition moments while continuing to compact the space in behind. I asked her, are you having fun out here today? She smiled at me and said, this is the victory tour. How can you not?
She's enjoying these last few games for sure. Doesn't know what she's going to do, but she said, I'm not retiring. That's not the word. She doesn't know what her next challenge will be, but she'll look forward to it. She said at the moment, she's not looking for opportunities, but I'm sure opportunities are going to find her.
And that Pia had asked her to be her assistant.
Would not have been something.
Yeah, right?
Pia Sundhage just taken over at Brazil. That was surprising, I would say, that news.
Nothing surprised me with Pia.
Good for Pia.
Free soul.
I hope that means that Brazil is going to take it more serious now that they've hired her. Let's hope. Ball played back to goal, and Morais sends it into U.S. territory. Sonnet on the right. Intended for Lloyd, headed back to Morais. So there were 3 changes made by the U.S. at halftime, and also a position change with Ertz dropping back so that Lewis can play in that middle.
Yeah, and that actually slides Morgan Bryant into the 6 role. A lot of ground for her to cover in there.
McDonald feeding it. That's pounced on by Morais. Morgan Bryant scored that last goal for the U.S. Haven't had a goal since the 18th minute. Record crowd here in Philadelphia for standalone U.S. Women's National Team friendly. Waiting for the official attendance. It'll come later. They already broke the record. Tickets sold coming into this game.
And it is packed. And this is a big stadium. Only the upper deck.
Silva's pass to the right. The cross inside from Marks. That's blocked. Crystal Dunn sending it long. Crystal Dunn, not one of those players. Did well as a left back, but that was not her normal position. They made her into a left back. Where does the new coach, whoever that is, want to play Crystal Dunn? Ball inched forward. Moran. Out wide. U.S. The big cross. And she just overshot for North Carolina Courage teammate Jessica McDonald.
And this ball had such a good trajectory on it. She pulls wide. It's Lindsey Horan who then finds her in space. The little cutback gives her the window to drive that one across. And that one just tails away from McDonald. That's the range, though, of Mewis that's beautiful. I know it doesn't connect in the end, but the pace on that.
She had a breakout at the World Cup, right? 2 goals, 3 assists. She started 5 games, played in 6. Portugal on the ball, trying to create some offense tonight. They gave Neto a rest, but they know what she can do, and they've got another game on Tuesday. We're not aware of any injury. We're just assuming that these are all just changes, normal changes made at the half.
Right, and Neto told us the other day that a big area his team needs to improve upon is creating opportunities to score. They have not been able to generate any tonight.
Lloyd, fancy footwork in the box. Looks for the outlet. It's done, but it's tackled away. Throw in U.S. here in the 51st minute. This time the U.S. will take their time on it. Dunn gets it back, tackled out. Another U.S. throw-in. Jessica McDonald will come over to take it. Played in 1 game at the World Cup.
Rice is coming out for this. She knows it's a long throw.
Is it ever? Headed one, slide! Go! 3-0 U.S. International goal for Carly Lloyd.
And an homage Pressure Eagles. Here it is, the long throw from Jess McDonald. You can see Mariah, she had started off her line, then she backpedals, and I don't even think she sets in order to push off that back leg to drive out for this ball that's flicked on by Lindsay Uran. Lloyd with the tap in, perfect timing, just sneaks in behind her defender. No one goes with her. Fly, Eagles, fly, she says.
Such a deft touch by Lloyd, a simple slight touch for the goalkeeper coming out. And Lloyd gets one in front of what's really a home crowd for her, growing up in Delran, New Jersey, just down the road. Rice sends it forward. A 3-0 lead now for the U.S. That comfortable lead became more comfortable now. Vilo played it back into the center. Goes back to Morais. US coming into this game with 14 straight wins, are unbeaten in 33 at home. Ball played forward. Maybe somebody here for Silva. She hesitated, comes in, plays it in front. She passed up a shot. Quick shot saved by French. That's their best opportunity, and really first opportunity of the night. But I'm wondering why Silva didn't pull the trigger on her own earlier.
And it was one of the first times they've actually been able to find Tatiana Pinto at the base of their diamond with no pressure. The U.S. has been defending flat in midfield, three across up top. They get out of pressure right there in the tight area. It's Pinto who releases into Norton, and Norton finds Silva running in behind. Now she has options. I think that last touch lets her down a bit. She can cut off Ertz's run and create angles in the end for her two teammates, but this one still sneaks across. Jessica Silva has a first look, and then that one, France stands tall and really just has to deflect that in the end. The shot coming right at her.
54th minute. U.S. with a 3-0 lead. They could have conceded just shortly after Lloyd had scored that goal. It's the best opportunity all night for Portugal. Norton lost it, but it's controlled by Portugal in her own half. Tatiana Pinto, Marks, Borges. Borges, one of 3 players on Portugal with over 100 caps. Knocked away from Norton. Comes back to French. Carly Lloyd's goal making it a 3-0 game. U.S. really unchallenged tonight. That was the only opportunity for Portugal. Dunn in front of the Portugal bench. Mewis. Ryan was calling for that ball. Ryan will give it up on the right. Way out wide. McDonald. 1v1 going to the outside. Wants to cross. It's deflected, but right into the arms of Morais. Taking some time off the clock as she sends us forward towards Silva. It's going to be a throw-in for Portugal. We have a couple of other subs warming up. Expect more changes to come. Maybe by that 60-minute benchmark. We'll see. It's a throw-in right now for Portugal. Borges. Pinto, Revilo. That's to no one in white. France will put it back into play. Same two teams Tuesday in Minnesota. Got a couple of games later in the fall. U.S. versus South Korea, one in Charlotte, one in Chicago. That'll do it for the Victory Tour. 5 games this time around. It was 10 the last time. Imagine if they had to play 10 now with the mental and physical fatigue that's going on. with their NWSL season and the grind of winning the World Cup. Brand tucking it inside. Bryan. Press. Kristen Press, very active all night. Trying to get it forward. It was deflected. Two players got the legs tangled up. Portugal still have a player down. Ball played up, but the offside flag is up. I believe it's 14, Dolores Silva. This play is stopped. '58th minute. Here's what happened.
Well, Horan had made a long run out of midfield. She's just trying to come back to that ball. You can see Dolores Silva goes to make a play on it. In the end, connects with Horan's leg. She's trying to double back. More open, though, this half. And you always wonder what's the big factor in that. I wonder if moving Morgan Bryan into that midfield spot gives up a little bit of defensive prowess, a little bit of control for the U.S. in terms of shielding the front of that back line with Ertz now in this center back position. I think it's going to be difficult for Morgan Bryan at the international level in world events to be that 6 for this U.S. team going forward. I think she can play at an 8 and a more advanced spot as a 10. Great at the final ball, but I think the mobility aspect, the ability to win in challenges, the way Julie Ertz does. Yes, you'd like Julie Ertz to stay home more often, but I think that is a spot that Morgan Bryan won't be able to compete with in it going forward.
Mewis on the ball. Another long ball right of the money to Jessica McDonald in the middle. She was looking. Lloyd was making that run. Horan also made a run. Horan near post, Lloyd down the middle. See the U.S. have players up. Casey Short and Mallory Pugh getting some last-minute instructions from Jill Ellis. And now Ellie Long is up there. So they may finish the subs shortly.
And I was hoping for a Kristen Hamilton debut.
Maybe Tuesday in Minnesota. Hamilton and Casey Short were the two added because of all these injuries that the U.S. has had. Morgan's was most recent in a game, ironically, in which she collided with Julie Ertz, who was playing for Chicago. Rapinoe still hasn't really played since the World Cup ended. So let's wait on all of these changes. Short will come in. Emily Sonnet will come out. Casey Short was one of the last cuts before the World Cup.
And you think about players that have things to prove. She's going to be one of them.
Rand is coming out. Nice ovation. Mallory Pugh will come in for her. And then Morgan Bryan will make an exit as well for Allie Long. And we are done with the subs for the U.S. Subs have a way of changing the game with all these fresh legs. We'll see how it plays out. Portugal also have two subs up in the ready position. When they get a chance, Tatiana Pinto will push it back. By the way, Dolores Silva didn't miss much time. She was already back out on the field. We're wondering about her injury. Done on it. Ertz continues to run. On the move, it's the U.S. looking. End line, cut back there for McDonald, laid off. Lloyd just couldn't get the touch in the end. U.S. will recover it though quickly. Played across, line press. And now they'll chase back. Again, it's the U.S. winning the ball back. Casey Short pushing it right. Short plays for the Chicago Red Stars. to goal to Morais. 62nd minute. 3-0 U.S. leading. Goals by Heath, Bryan, and Lloyd. Knocked away from Borges. Now Portugal will make these changes. Number 5, Fidalgo, is going to come into the game. And number 18, Carolina Mendes. So they're up to 4 changes. Players out, Diana Silva and Ana Borges. 63rd minute. The U.S. cruising at 3-0. Marks pass ahead, block. Portugal will get it back on the right. Norton, 6 in white. Try to bring it to the middle. Marks pass, give and go. It's behind her. U.S. will recover. Press. Short. Here on the right. Turning. Finding Short. Looking to cross. Short. Delivers off the fingertips of Morais and headed out for a corner. 4th one for the U.S.
Good aggressive wide play by the combination. Mallory Pugh and Casey Short on the overlap. She gets around the edge. Slippery hands there by Morais.
Crystal Dunn pulling it back. Sour run for Casey Short. Sending it in. It's deflected into the arms of Morais. Let's go down to field level, hear from Katie Witham.
Casey Short getting an opportunity here tonight, and the next step for her has been a focus on improving her offensive play when she can push forward in those right moments. But Becky Sauerbrunn told me that she's out and out the best 1v1 defender on the team. She said people just don't get by her. If the ball's going down her side, she won't get the crosses off, and love seeing her already involved in the offense early in the second half.
That she has, but she's playing as a right back now. We've seen her as a left back, also in the midfield, mostly on that left side, but she's a versatile player. Had to be tough for her, Ali. U.S. never announces who the last cut was, but she was one of the last cuts for sure. As this ball was deflected out for a Portugal corner.
I mean, for a player like Casey Short, this is a perfect opportunity, to Katie's point, to utilize figuring out when she can go forward, when she can't, get involved in that offensive side of things. But as you said, JP, when you get left off a roster, it happened to me twice in my career. When you're one of the last cuts, it's brutal. And you look at your game and you think of, here are the little elements that I know I can improve upon, so I'm now in the mix. In Casey Short's case, for the Olympics this next year.
That was Crystal Dunn in 2015. She made the Olympic team the next year. Portugal's corner, the middle. U.S. won that first ball. Second one was drilled over France. We're in the 66th minute. Down on the ball. Sauerbrunn. Hurts.
It's interesting watching Julie Ertz in that back line. She keeps wanting to drive past that first line of confrontation. That last one, she didn't commit either of the two attackers. That allows Portugal to shift over quickly and close on that ball that's served in. But she looks forward more often out of the back than Becky Sauerbrunn. That's something Becky's going to have to address if she wants to continue to be in the mix going forward for the Olympics.
Ball knocked out, a throw-in coming.
Such a good leader back there, both those players.
Then lets that go out. Goal kick for French. U.S. up 3-0. Goals by Heath, Bryan, and Lloyd. Lloyd has the only goal of this second half. Ertz pulling it back. It's reflected as well. View on that far side. Ball lost out. Making a World Cup debut in France. 1 goal, 1 assist in that World Cup. Sent across too far for Crystal Dunn. Gathered in by Portugal. Fidalgo. Trying to put that one into space. It's cut off. Mewis. Oh, she had McDonald open.
And Pugh sliding in.
You can see the chemistry with some of the players that are also teammates in the NWSL, like Mewis and McDonald. They're looking for each other. They know what to expect from one another in terms of the runs. Here is Jessica McDonald. 1 against 2 at the moment, pulling it wide. McDonald into the box. McDonald shot off the post. Nobody there for the rebound. What a move by Jessica McDonald. Portugal still in some trouble. And they lost it out.
And now it's going to be a long throw again, but here she is. She's got 2 players to beat. She forces the issue. This is what you want to do as a striker. Drive your defender into the box so either they foul you or you can get that shot off. Unlucky in the end. It's just a little touch that looks like by Morais that helps that find the post and out.
Another long McDonald throw in. Lloyd is there. If she had a deft touch like her last one, that's the 4th goal.
Portugal has to figure out their set pieces, service in the box. They struggle with it. You talk about getting prepared for the Euros. That should be their main focus. They're gifting opportunities to the opponent. And that's what happens so many times when you invite so much pressure, when you sit deep as Portugal is against the United States. You're giving away these dangerous set piece opportunities and you're not dealing with them well. Recipe for disaster when it counts. Just a friendly tonight, but those are things they're going to want to improve upon.
70th minute. 3-0 U.S. lead in front of this record crowd in Philadelphia here at the Link. Ertz in the circle. Has Casey Short, their teammates in Chicago with the Red Stars. Right back to Julie Ertz. Alley Long. Mewis. Mewis coming into the middle. Trying to lay it off. I don't think Dunn was the intended target, but she almost got to that ball. It's a U.S. throw-in. Portugal have more subs up. They still have 2 changes to make if they want to. U.S. have used all 6 of their allotted subs in this international friendly. Another one of the long McDonald throw-ins. Morais had to punch it out. Dunn settles, chips, wide of a diving Morais. Goal kick. Next Friday on MS1, the 2019 Gold Cup final rematch, USA versus Mexico. That's really all you need to say, those 2 words, USA and Mexico, and people will watch. Our coverage from MetLife Stadium begins at 8:30 Eastern on MS1, or streaming live on the Fox Sports app. U.S. with this 3-0 lead here. Trying to close it out in the 72nd minute. Dunn, dispossessed, knocked out of play. Be a throw in here for Portugal.
You got your cell phone out with the crowd?
No.
Come on, JP.
I just noticed
Light it
that.
up.
I just noticed that. I was off, though, by my prediction. I thought they'd get 50,000. They almost did here tonight. Great showing, 49,504. For these fans, a chance to watch some of the great stars from this last World Cup. Ball played into space, and the U.S. will cut that off. Almost given away. It goes to Dunn, though, from French. Portugal back on it, into the middle. Pushed up by Pinto. And the U.S. collects. So a couple of shaky moments in the back. Maybe that's fatigue, Allie. Maybe.
Maybe a little test for Adriana French in her second cap. I think she's not going to appreciate either of those back passes in the second half.
U.S. 73rd minute. U.S. leading by 3. Hugh now on this near side. Good job to keep it. Knocked out for a throw-in for the U.S. Mallory Pugh, just 21 years of age, plays in the same club team Washington as Rose Lavelle. So 2 players that are excelling for both club and country with Washington.
A lot of promise in her.
So Andy Sullivan on that team, who was another player that was one of probably the last cuts for the U.S.
And the Washington Spirit playing much better than WSL this year. Got so much talent, you said, JP, and those young players.
Great crowd, too, the other day, right at Audi Field. They sold it out. Fantastic atmosphere, from what we were told. Ball taken away in this right side, but nowhere to go. This was a nice recovery from Sauerbrunn. So Portugal throw in for Fidalgo. Back towards Fidalgo, but it's picked off by Mal Pugh. She gave it back. Knocked out. It's Jessica Silva who touched it last. Throwing coming up here for Portugal. It's Fidalgo again. The top team is Manchester City. Fidalgo's header. Chipped up. It's intended for Mendes. And now fucked it out. I thought Norton touched it last, but apparently not. The rule is for a throw-in for Fidalgo. Cleared out by Mewis. Into the box it comes. Now Portugal are back outside near the corner flag. Nice move by Jessica Silva. Maybe one move too many. It's going to be a goal kick. FS1's coverage of this USA versus Portugal match, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. About 15 minutes and maybe some stoppage time to go in front of this record crowd. The U.S. gives this one away again. That's at least 3 giveaways here in the second half. Off the clearance from Sauerbrunn. Mewis ahead towards Pugh. She deflected it forward, makes the run. Had press, who was holding up to stay onside. Now it goes to press from Lloyd. Her pass was blocked, though. On a busted play, U.S. almost made something happen, and now it's turned over by the U.S.
Frustration from Lloyd. She was cleaned on that challenge.
Carly Lloyd, one of the goal scorers tonight, her 115th international goal. She played in every game at the World Cup. People wondered what her role would be. Only started once, but she played in every game.
And she was always ready. I mean, that's always her MO. When asked, I will step up to the moment. She played her role well. And oftentimes, that's a hard transition for players to go from being a star at a World Cup to then being a utility player, a player that's going to sub in for sometimes a few minutes in a match.
All attempted wide for Jessica Silva, never got there. U.S. McDonald. Press makes a run, too far. Portugal starts from deep in their own half. 78th minute. They are trailing by 3. We really had one good look tonight. Dunn cutting it. Ertz stepping past Mendes. Ertz keeps it. Picked off. On this right side, that's picked off as well. It was Fatima Pinto who's trying to make something happen.
Portugal just can't take advantage of these moments the U.S. is gifting them.
Here's McDonald down the right side. McDonald drives it in front, loose, and it goes in for the 4th goal for the U.S.
This game has become more open in the second half. First it was Portugal on the other end, then the U.S. comes down. Jess McDonald driving down that flank side. Lays this one across the back line where you have to make a decision as a goalkeeper. Do you allow your defender to make a plan, or do you come out and try to win it? Well, Moraes makes a mess of this one. Jess McDonald head down driving, knows she has a space to whip that across. And that one may have glanced off of Press's hand. You said earlier, no VAR though.
Yeah, well, Press should get credit for that goal. She touched it last. She's got it now. The shot! Wide. Press with a couple of assists on the night, and if that counts as her goal, she gets a goal as well.
And during the celebrations, I was watching up here, Ertz and Sauerbrunn were getting together and talking things out, because when they've been trying to play out of the back, you pointed out, JP, there have been a few rough passes.
Yeah. Apparently the goal was waved off while we were on replay.
Well, it must have been because
handball.
it was the handball.
I saw the referee joking with her, and that's what must have been said. Ertz. Holding now. So just a 3-0 lead. Press with the 2 assists. And obviously that was the right call because it was handled. Norton giving it up. Wanted a return, won't get it. U.S. coming back on the left side. For Q. Making the run, 1 against 2. She'll cut it in front. Off Press. The turn. Press looks. That's blocked as well. And this rolls out for a U.S. throw-in as Portugal gets ready to make another sub. It will be Melissa Gomes. But not yet.
I thought Press was going to have a go on that spin that she made in the box. She's so good when she swivels her hips. She can get around on a 360 quicker than anyone in the women's game, I think.
Let's see how Portugal defends this. They've seen this long throw-in now about a half a dozen times. McDonald, the toss in. This time they clear, but they gave it right away to Dunn. That's blocked. U.S. try to get it back. It's up in the middle. Picked up by Ertz. Wide for Lloyd. Made that run wide to stay onside. Nice cut. Lloyd drives it up the ice. Now it's 4.
To peel out, and then she turns her defender inside out with that little cut there. Drives this one again in behind that back line of the defense. The miscommunication between Moraes and her center backs allows in. Brave header in the end as she slips between two defenders and then beats the goalkeeper to it. If you come out for that ball as goalkeeper, you have to make a play on it.
Long 7th goal of her international career. And the touch off Lloyd. 4-0. U.S. 83rd minute. U.S. still looking for more. As you mentioned before, wide open here in the second half. Probably a lot of that. Oh, the subs that were made in the first booking goes to Portugal.
And a lot of these Portuguese players are just beginning their season. They're coming out of preseason in club. So to be able to hang with the U.S. at this intensity for 90 minutes becomes ever more difficult as the moments wane on.
Free kick coming up for the U.S. about 24 yards away from goal. Sam Mewis ready to strike, waiting on the whistle. Wall is set up. Mewis over the goal.
That's one of the first times I've seen Sam Mewis step up to take a free kick for the United States.
Rice will put this ball back into play. She's had a rough night. She's been tested several times. The other game was much closer, not just in the score when they played last fall, but also in relevant stats. The U.S. has really never been in trouble tonight in this international friendly, part of the victory tour.
I think the only person that caused them problems was Jessica Silva, and she's out of the match now. The Olympic Lyonnais player. Really good with the ball at her feet. And then, of course, you see her pace that she had.
85th minute. 4-0 U.S. lead. Lloyd with a goal and an assist, so she's factored in the last couple of goals in this half. She's got the ball again at her feet. Lays it off on the right. McDonald onside. Cross to the back post. Too far. Closest player to it was Mallory Pugh. Going for Fidalgo. U.S. It's blocked. And it's going to go out of play. USA here as Dunn plays it back. Sauerbrunn pass for Ertz. They were the two starting center backs at the 2015 Women's World Cup. And then Ertz had a position change in the last cycle. Here's Short. Into the middle. Press. Settles. Shot off the post.
So close. It's such a good buildup by the United States on that far side. Katie talked about Casey Short wanting to get involved in the attack. She did incredibly well over there. Here it is, a quick little combination play. Carly Lloyd, a beautiful layoff to her, and then she drives with the ball. You commit that next defender, and that gives Kristen Press a little more time and space because you're not going to have a player doubling back. And she gets that shot off, trying to curl it around the defender. Can't tuck it into the post. Jill Ellis talked about change of tempo at halftime to Katie, and that was a perfect example of it with Carly Lloyd on that far side and Casey Short.
Up the middle from Mewis. She looked for Pugh. Too far. More ice on it. U.S. in the air. Just winning that. The flex. Press. Looking for the run of Jessica McDonald. really wide open in second half here. The U.S. has been very active. A lot more switching the ball like they were talking about in the first half.
And just more space to work. The space between the lines has opened up as Portugal's fatigued.
Portugal back on the ball. Oh, picked off almost by the U.S. Done. Into the middle. Carly Lloyd going forward. Finally dispossessed. Played up by Pico towards Norton. U.S. tracks back to win it. Left it there. A little bit of a clip. Ellie Long draws the foul.
Portugal just really struggles to play at this tempo that the United States can bring on the defensive side of things. They can't get out of the pressure.
We have a few days to try to sort this out, see how they want to play Tuesday in Minnesota, beautiful Allianz Field. Brand new stadium, home of Minnesota United. Now Pugh on the left. 1v1, drives it in, it's loose, it's Lloyd, she couldn't get it. Second try comes out, short from distance. Headed once, Pugh on the move. She'll gather it in inside the box, outside for Dunn. Try to go in line now, pulls it back in the 89th minute. She'll back on it. Short trying to slow them down. Norton. Into the middle. Pinto. Behind Mendes. Gathered in by Gomes. Right sideline, it's Norton. On the cut, Norton. Into the middle. Just stayed there, no one in white near it. Lewis starts back. Behind Pugh, throw in Portugal. 90th minute, 4-0 U.S. Mendes with a pass ahead. It's going to be deflected out. Throw in, waiting for the signal. It's going to be USA who will put it back in play. About a half minute to go. Jill Ellis looking on and will be her 104th win as the U.S. head coach. One away from the record held by the late Tony DiCicco. Ball pushed forward, Dolores Silva. Back in Portugal's half, waiting on that final whistle. There it is, in front of almost 50,000 here, the U.S. with a convincing 4-0 victory over Portugal. Tobin Heath started it with her goal, then it was Morgan Ryan, Carly Lloyd.